Welcome to another episode of the Gentleman's Motor Racing Team. We are competing in motorsport as a fun experience, and we're kind of unique because most of our sponsorship comes through crowdfunding from lovely people like you. This is episode 3 and a build up to us entering the Jersey Rally in 2025. We've never competed in a rally as large and as complicated as this before, and so we're genuinely pooping ourselves. In this episode, we decided that it was time to give the car a shakedown, especially after messing around with the suspension and the exhaust. And I had just the event in mind. I've always had a fascination with the original endurance rallies, such as the London to Sydney rally and the Safari rallies. Whoa! So when I was recommended to have a go at this year's Hero ERA Rally of the Ages, a one-day beginner's navigation rally, we jumped at the chance. Katrin was also keen to practice reading Tulip rally notes, as this will be the system that's used during the Jersey Rally to help navigate the road sections between stages. They're like a pictorial road book. Saying that, I think they're still in the car. Hey, there we go. So this rally was actually a combination of different types of navigation. So yes, you had the Tulip rallies, Tulip notes, sorry. There were sections where we had to do basically an auto test, and then there were descriptive notes. That was another way, just telling you to turn left or turn right. And I must say, this road book is probably one of the best we've ever come across. It's the time and effort gone into making this is unbelievable. So well done, Hero ERA. For those that don't know, we live on the Isle of Wight, and so it was going to be a 100-mile road trip to get to the event. The event itself was 100 miles, and then it was going to be 100 miles back. This was going to be the longest road trip we've ever attempted in our little rally mini. A great test for the car and for our sanity with that straight cut gearbox. And we're so glad that we had the intercom for the road trip there and back. The intercom and the headsets were all kindly funded through one of our crowdfunding schemes, sponsored by lovely people like you, so thank you very much. It really did save our minds. But unfortunately, in these type of rally events, you're not allowed to use an intercom, so that was something completely new to us, and yet Katrin really did have to raise her voice for me to hear, and we had to add in some extra hand signals as well. You all right, mate? Oh! This is Alfie the cat. See you later. Yeah, Alfie is not my cat. Alfie is my neighbour's cat, but he likes to hang out in the workshop. For our YouTube members and patrons, I make a video every week known as the Midweek Update video. And Alfie has his own section in that video, and he's basically the star of the show. So the Hero ERA Rally was a one-day event and perfect for beginners just like us. For these to make sense, you need to know what mileage you're doing. A lot of rally cars will have a dedicated computer in the car that's connected to the wheels or GPS, and that will tell you right down to a mile how far you've gone, so that you know you're going to turn off on the right junction. We don't have one of those. It's certainly something that I would like to start up in a future crowdfunding scheme. But what they said is you could download an app. So the app, we kind of made a bracket in the car so that Katrin could read it, and then she could see exactly how far we were going and all the timings and that sort of malarkey. So Katrin organised the navigating with the turn-by-turn directions. Me as the driver, I had to focus on hitting a certain speed limit. There were some bits where they were 18 miles an hour, some were 30 miles an hour, and although that sounds very slow, and yes it is, it's nothing like a stage rally, the concentration levels were unbelievable, and trying to stay at these average speeds is really difficult, I must admit. And mixed in between these navigation sets were what they call special stages, effectively a forward only auto test. And I thought, we've got this. This is what we do all the time. No, I know exactly why it didn't work. Normally when I do forward only auto testing is I will study the course, you know, and then we'll walk it and we'll know exactly where we're going. However, these, you don't walk the course, and basically Katrin was telling me where to go. There was that whole delay on where to go. So I know in the future, if we do another event, what I need to do is actually read the notes for the course, and so I know where I'm going, and then Katrin can remind me as we go round. I know it sounds very, very simple, and it is, but yeah, we got kind of I fluffed it up. It was a perfect way to experience navigating rally, and I genuinely can't wait to do another event. There's plenty on offer, and I actually do really fancy the Sahara Challenge. However, the whole reason for doing it, not only was it to experience what it was like to do an endurance navigation rally, but it was a shakedown for the car, wasn't it, for Jersey? It did highlight an awful lot of things. Mainly, it was the hottest day of the year that we drove up, and the temperature gauge was really, really high, especially when we were stuck in traffic. It wasn't uncommon to see 90 degrees on our temperature gauge. We already run a slightly larger aluminium radiator. We have an electric fan in addition to the mechanical fan, and of course we've done that whole thing with radiator hose bypass. If you haven't seen that video, I'll leave a link up here somewhere. So your suggestions on how we could possibly keep the car cool if we're ever going to dip into Morocco in one of those challenges, yeah, we do need to address that. Anyway, your advice on that subject would be amazing, thank you. One of the big issues is we ran out of fuel. For those that don't know, let me give you a tour of the fuel system on the Rally Mini. So this is an aluminium fuel tank, it's 25 litres. It is baffled there and there, but it's not foam filled. Fuel now comes out of here into this little facet fuel pump and goes into the side of the swirl pot. That then fills it up, and when it's full, overflow comes out of here and then back into the tank. So this is constantly circulating, making sure that the swirl pot is always full. I don't know if you can see it down there, but that is the fuel out. That goes all the way round down here into this pre-filter, into that. This is the main fuel pump that then goes up to into the combined regulator and fuel filter, comes out of here through the bulkhead to the front of the car. So the downside of our fuel system now is very, very complicated, and there's genuinely not much room in there to put anything at all. And on one of the regularities on the ERA Hero Rally, we got lost. And while we were driving around trying to figure out where we went round a roundabout. I heard the distinctive sound of the fuel pump that fills the swirl pot running dry. It goes bum, 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 like that. Luckily on the roundabout there was a petrol station, so we dived in, refilled with petrol, took that opportunity to look at all the paperwork, figure out where we went wrong, and got back on track. So we've now made the decision in the summer of 2026, when we do a bit of a refit on the car, we're going to remove that fuel system entirely and go back to standard fuel tanks. So yeah, we're going to go for the left and the right. This will then remove all of the fuel surging issues. It will give us massive range for when we do endurance rallies, and we'll now have space in the boot to put tools, spares, or whatever we need for the event that we're doing. There were a few off-road sections and the car was definitely running too low as the exhaust was basically bottoming out as we were driving through gravel. So I need to put the sump guard with the sump guard extension on it and maybe raise the suspension a little bit. But the handling of the car was great, absolutely no issues on the auto test, so I'm confident that it will be alright for Jersey. However, we did have some good news, and that was that we breezed through the sound check. We passed it, no problems at all. It could be all down to that little droop that we but on the exhaust tip. The next thing we need to make sure is the Mini meets all the regs for the Jersey Rally, and one of those is to service and refill the plumbed in fire extinguisher, and we'll cover that in the next episode. If you don't want to miss that, please consider subscribing, and if you'd be kind enough to smash that like button, it really helps our little channel get a little bit more exposure and maybe in the process gain a few sponsors. My favourite comment from a previous video was from Mel Jeans 7280, who said, "My one piece of advice for road sections is don't follow a local." We made so many mistakes on the Rally of the Ages event, basically by following other people, thinking they're going the right way. So thank you very much, Mel Jeans, I appreciate that. Right, YouTube says that you may be interested in this video here, but if you want to see the video where we modified the exhaust on the Rally Mini, check this video out here. Right, until next time, thank you very much. Ta-ta for now.